Have you ever wondered if everything you see around you is truly real? What if I told you that our world might just be a projection, a complex hologram created by the mind? Intriguing, right? Now imagine someone who not only believed in this idea, but scientifically proved it, challenging everything we thought we knew about reality. That someone is Jacobo Grinberg, a brilliant scientist who delved deep into the mysteries of consciousness only to mysteriously disappear without a trace. Could it be that he discovered something so powerful that he needed to be silenced? Or did his own theory lead him to transcend reality as we know it? Stay with me and discover how Grinberg forever changed our view of the universe and what it means for you. Imagine for a moment that everything you perceive around you, people, objects, even the sky above, is nothing more than a projection, like an image on a screen, but on a scale that encompasses the entire universe. This is the principle behind the concept of holographic reality, a theory suggesting that our three-dimensional reality is actually an illusion created by information stored on a distant two-dimensional surface. For many, this idea might seem a bit confusing or even fantastical, but it's a theory gaining traction, especially among those seeking to understand the mysteries of consciousness and existence. This theory isn't limited to science. It resonates deeply with various spiritual traditions that have long spoken of the world as an illusion, or Maya, as it's known in Hinduism. Think of it like an intricate tapestry, where every thread, every pattern, is an essential part of the whole, but which appears solid only when viewed from a certain perspective. On the spiritual journey, understanding that our reality might be holographic is an invitation to question what is truly real and how our perceptions shape our life experiences. Now imagine the impact of this view on our daily lives and spiritual practice. If everything we see is a projection, where is the true self? This is the starting point for a deep inner journey, where guided meditation and mindfulness practices become keys to unveiling this illusory reality and touching the essence of who we are. Self-healing and emotional balance, so often sought on our spiritual path, become not only possible but inevitable as we align with this holographic understanding. This notion that the universe is a hologram also opens doors to a deeper connection with the cosmos, where the power of intention and spiritual vibration are not mere abstractions, but real forces shaping our experience. Imagine that every thought, every intention, is like a beam of light passing through the hologram, creating shapes, experiences, and realities. Thus, when practicing chakra alignment, or engaging in energy healing, we aren't just adjusting energies within ourselves, but also rewriting the very code of the reality we live in. And as you begin to reflect on this revolutionary idea, you might wonder how this theory connects with other spiritual and scientific practices. After all, if reality is a hologram, what is the role of consciousness? How can we interact with this holographic matrix in ways that promote our personal and spiritual growth? These questions lead us to explore Jacobo Grinberg's legacy and his research on the nature of reality and consciousness. Jacobo Grinberg's name might not be widely known, but his legacy resonates deeply among those exploring the mysteries of the mind and reality. He was a Mexican neurophysiologist and psychologist who dedicated himself to studying consciousness and shamanic practices scientifically. Grinberg was ahead of his time, proposing revolutionary ideas about how our minds interact with the universe around us. However, in 1994, When he was at the height of his research, he inexplicably disappeared, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and theories that continue to intrigue scientists and spiritualists alike. Grinberg's disappearance wasn't just a tragic event. It was an enigma that, for many, suggests a deep connection between his research and something that perhaps transcends common human understanding. Imagine a scientist who was getting closer to uncovering the secrets of consciousness and reality, and then suddenly vanishes as if he never existed. For those who believe in the interconnection between mind and matter, this disappearance can be seen as a kind of non-local event, an echo of the very theories he was studying, where the boundaries between the physical and the metaphysical blur. Grinberg's absence left a void, but it also fueled curiosity and fascination around his work. His disappearance has turned into a modern myth, evoking the idea that he may have discovered something so powerful and disturbing that in some way he was removed from the equation. The legacy of his research continues to inspire those seeking to understand how consciousness might influence reality. Imagine the emotional and spiritual impact of knowing that a man who ventured so deeply into understanding reality disappeared without a trace. This mystery prompts us to reflect on the nature of reality and how our own spiritual journey can lead us to places that challenge conventional understanding. When we dive into guided meditation or explore practices of self-knowledge, we are essentially following in Grinberg's footsteps, trying to lift the veils that conceal a greater truth. And as we contemplate the possibility that reality is far more than what we perceive, the question arises, what was Jacobo Grinberg's true discovery? This question invites us to delve deeper into his theories about the hologram and the influence of consciousness. Jacobo Grinberg was a visionary who dedicated his life to investigating the boundaries of the mind and its ability to shape reality. His studies went beyond conventional neuroscience, entering territories that few dared to explore. Grinberg was particularly interested in how the human mind could influence physical reality, an idea he believed was inherently tied to the spiritual and shamanic practices he studied. For him, the universe was not just a stage for physical phenomena, but a field of information that could be shaped by human consciousness. Grinberg's research led him to postulate that consciousness could interact directly with the quantum field, suggesting that our perception of the world is, in fact, a mental construction that aligns with a greater, more complex reality. Think of the mind as a radio tuner, capable of picking up different frequencies of reality. Grinberg believed that through meditation, mindfulness practice, and self-knowledge, we could adjust this tuning to access deeper layers of existence, where spiritual healing and personal growth become tangible realities. His approach was also rooted in his experiences with Mexican shamans, who, according to him, had a deep understanding of how the mind could transcend the limitations of time and space. These shamans seemed to access a reality that was beyond the reach of traditional Western science, using methods that Grinberg studied and documented. Imagine being able to access a state of consciousness where past, present and future intertwine, where chakras and energy are not just concepts, but experiential realities. Grinberg was convinced that this state of being was accessible to anyone willing to embark on a journey of spiritual self-discovery. With this understanding, Grinberg's work continues to inspire those who seek to explore the depths of the mind and spirit. He left behind a legacy of questions that still echo in every guided meditation practice and every spiritual ritual we perform. His journey was not just a scientific exploration, but a spiritual pilgrimage that invites us to look within ourselves and question what we truly know about reality. As we explore his theories, we are led to consider the role of consciousness in creating the world around us, opening doors to understanding how we can influence that creation through our own spiritual practice. Jacobo Grinberg's hologram theory offers an intriguing view of how our minds can be both the creator and observer of the reality we experience. According to this theory, the universe functions like a hologram, where each part contains the entirety of the information and where consciousness is the essential element that gives shape and meaning to this projection. Imagine a vast ocean of information, where each drop of water represents a fragment of reality, and where our mind acts as a lens that focuses and interprets this information. This theory aligns perfectly with mindfulness and meditation practices, where focus and intention are used to shape the conscious experience. When we engage in daily spiritual practices, we are, in fact, interacting with this universal hologram, tuning our consciousness to create a reality that resonates with our intention and life purpose. Think of meditation as an act of fine-tuning an instrument. The more finely tuned it is, the more harmonious the melody of life we create. Grinberg believed that through chakra alignment and inner harmony, we could access this holographic field more directly and consciously. The influence of consciousness in creating reality is not just an abstract idea. It is an experience that can be lived and felt at every moment of our spiritual journey. When we align our positive energy with a clear intention of self-discovery and spiritual growth, we are, in fact, shaping the hologram that surrounds us. Every thought, every emotion is like a brushstroke on a cosmic canvas, where consciousness acts as the artist, creating a work of art that is our very life. Imagine the power we have in our hands, or rather in our minds, to create a reality of inner peace, harmony, and personal transformation. By understanding reality as a hologram, we become aware of our role as co-creators of our experiences. This leads us to a deeper level of spiritual responsibility, where every choice and action resonates throughout the universal field. Grinberg offers us a new perspective on how our spiritual practice can influence not only our own well-being, but also the world around us. How can we use this knowledge to achieve a deeper connection with the universe and live in alignment with our soul's purpose? This question leads us to explore experiments on non-local interaction and meditation, and how these phenomena show that we are all interconnected on a much deeper level than we imagine. Jacobo Grinberg wasn't content with just theories. He was dedicated to experimenting and scientifically verifying his hypotheses. One of the most fascinating aspects of his research involved non-local interaction, a phenomenon where two or more particles or minds connect in such a way that, even at considerable distances, an influence can be observed instantly in the other. This idea of non-locality deeply resonates with spiritual practices such as guided meditation and energy healing rituals, where intention can influence reality in ways that transcend the limitations of space and time. Grinberg conducted experiments where synchronized meditators were able to achieve states of consciousness where physical separation dissolved, allowing their minds to interact in a common energy field. Imagine being so deeply in tune with another being that your intentions, emotions, and thoughts merge into a single current of energy. These experiments not only supported his theories about the hologram, but also demonstrated the immense power of the mind in creating connections that go beyond what traditional science considers possible. This suggests that through practices such as meditation for emotional healing and mindfulness, we can explore and harness these non-local connections in our daily lives. The practical application of these discoveries is immense. When we meditate, for example, we are not just working on our personal development. We are also influencing the energy field around us, interacting with others in subtle but powerful ways. Grinberg shows us that meditation and self-knowledge are not only paths to individual spiritual growth, but also tools for collective transformation. Imagine the impact that daily spiritual practices can have not only on your own life, but on the entire network of connected consciousness, creating a wave of positive energy and spiritual healing that spreads across the universe. These experiments invite us to reconsider the nature of reality and the depth of our connection with others. They encourage us to cultivate a spiritual practice that not only leads to greater self-awareness, but also connects us more deeply with the universe and those around us. And as we deepen this practice, we begin to glimpse the true potential of the mind and consciousness which Jacobo Grinberg dedicated his life to exploring. How can this interconnection transform our life experience? This question leads us to reflect on Grinberg's travels and research with shamans, where he sought to understand these interactions in an even broader spiritual context. Jacobo Grinberg's journey led him to dive deep into the indigenous spiritual traditions of Mexico, where he encountered shamans who seemed to have an intuitive and profound knowledge of the mind and reality. These shamans, considered by their peoples as spiritual guides, possessed practices that Grinberg believed were capable of accessing dimensions of consciousness beyond the reach of Western science. Imagine a world where the boundaries between the physical and the spiritual are fluid, where energy healing and spiritual rituals are daily practices that maintain the balance between the individual and the universe. Grinberg spent years living with these shamans, studying their techniques, and trying to scientifically document what seemed to be the intersection between science and spirituality. For him, these shamans were the guardians of ancient knowledge that could offer valuable insights into how our mind interacts with the holographic field of the universe. Imagine being able to observe how these spiritual masters use guided meditation, chakra alignment rituals, and spiritual healing to transform the reality around them. For Grinberg, these rituals were not just symbolism. They were real tools of personal transformation and connection with the inner self. The practices of the shamans, as Grinberg discovered, were intrinsically linked to the idea that the mind is an interface that can connect with higher dimensions of existence. Through his research, he realized that these shamans had an instinctive understanding of how to manipulate positive energy and access full consciousness, concepts he sought to translate into scientific language. Imagine the wisdom accumulated over generations, passed down from shaman to shaman, and how this resonated with Grinberg's theories on the hologram and the influence of consciousness. These encounters provided Grinberg with a unique insight into how spiritual practices can not only heal, but also transform reality on a fundamental level. Grinberg's travels into the world of shamans not only enriched his research, but also expanded our understanding of the possibilities of the human mind. He left behind a legacy of questions about how we can integrate this ancient knowledge into our modern spiritual practices. Could the key to self-discovery and spiritual growth be hidden in the traditions of ancient peoples? This is a thought that leads us to consider the impact of Grinberg's disappearance and how his ideas continue to influence the way we see the world and ourselves. Jacobo Grinberg's disappearance left a void not only in the field of neuroscience, but also in the hearts of many who saw him as a beacon of wisdom and spiritual innovation. His absence raised countless questions, but also solidified his status as a near-mythical figure in the study of consciousness and reality. Imagine the impact of his ideas if he had continued his research. Perhaps today we would be closer to understanding the mysteries he only began to uncover. But even in his absence, Grinberg's legacy remains vibrant, inspiring new generations of spiritual seekers and scientists. Grinberg's ideas about the hologram, consciousness, and non-local interaction continue to be explored not only in scientific circles, but also among those seeking a deeper understanding of themselves and the universe. His work invites us to look at spirituality and science as complementary paths to the same destination, the understanding of ultimate truth. For those seeking emotional balance, inner peace, and self-discovery, Grinberg's theories offer a map to navigate the complexity of existence. Imagine being able to use these concepts to create a daily spiritual practice that truly transforms your reality, bringing inner harmony and spiritual growth. Grinberg's disappearance also serves as a reminder that, on our spiritual journey, not all answers will be found, and perhaps some questions will never be fully answered. However, it is in this mystery that the power of his influence lies. Grinberg encourages us to continue exploring, to keep an open mind, and to seek a deeper connection with the inner self and the universe. And as we do so, we discover that Grinberg's true legacy is not in the answers he provided, but in the questions he inspired us to ask. As we reflect on the impact of his disappearance and how his ideas continue to resonate, we are led to consider our own journey. What can we learn from Grinberg, and how can we apply these teachings in our daily lives? This is the question that propels us forward, encouraging us to continue our own exploration of consciousness and reality. And as we do, we come closer to our own truth, where soul purpose and spiritual growth intertwine, guiding us toward a fuller and more enlightened existence. So now that you've been introduced to these fascinating concepts, how does it change the way you see the world around you? Are you ready to challenge your own perceptions and dive deeper into understanding reality? Think about how Jacobo Grinberg's ideas can transform your spiritual journey. Are you using the full power of your mind to create the life you desire? The truth is, the knowledge you've gained here has the potential to change everything, but it's up to you to apply it in your life. How about starting today? Take a moment to meditate, align your chakras, and tune your consciousness to the universe. The change starts now. And if you want to keep exploring these topics and further expand your consciousness, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Together, we'll uncover the mysteries of the universe and discover the power that resides within each of us.